All right, back with a few more defensive use of a firearm incidents. I think I have 9 of them for you today. We're going to start in New Orleans, Louisiana, with an armed robbery with 2 suspects that are, let's just say, prepubescent. They're very young, and I can't say their age because it gets me in trouble for some reason with YouTube, I believe. Anyway, New Orleans, 2 juvenile boys attempting an armed holdup got more than they bargained for Sunday afternoon when each was shot and wounded before being arrested. Each of the boys was shot in the leg. All right, more wounds to the leg. And the wounds were not considered life-threatening. 2 accomplices that were slightly older than them also were arrested after crashing a red SUV being used as their getaway vehicle. The SUV was reported stolen earlier Sunday and had been used in an attempted robbery and an armed carjacking earlier. The crime spree came to an end when the intended victim of another armed robbery pulled his own gun and shot the boys around 3:57 p.m. The juveniles found to have sustained gunshot wounds in this incident are believed to be the perpetrators of an attempted armed robbery at the location. The subjects have been apprehended and are being transported to a local hospital for treatment. Okay, so these extremely young, in the double digits, but extremely young boys are out carjacking and committing armed robberies. This is in New Orleans, extremely young, and they both got shot. And this is another, if you saw my last video, my last self-defense video, I think there was 8 or 9 incidents in that one, and 2 of them, the suspects that got shot were shot in the leg. And so we just got another one here that these 2 kids were shot in the leg during this incident of armed robbery. So I don't know if that's normal, if I'm just noticing it lately because it seems to be a lot, or that's how people want you to shoot people. You know who I'm talking about when I say people that want you to shoot. When you shoot people, they want you and the police to just shoot people in the legs. Just shoot them in the legs. And that seems to be what is happening lately. So let's move on to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And this is a suspect was arrested and injured. Oh, great. This one says he was shot in the leg, too. Suspect shot as he flees by store owner, suffering a gunshot wound to the right leg. What is going on with this? At least 12 people were injured in shootings Saturday and Sunday across Philadelphia. Investigators said a store owner shot a man who had allegedly just committed a gunpoint robbery Sunday in Wanita. The gunfire occurred at around noon inside a convenience store. A 20-year-old gunman held up the store before the owner fired at him. Officers found the robbery suspect in a car nearby, and investigators recovered 2 guns. He was hospitalized in stable condition with a gunshot wound to his leg and is expected to face charges. So this guy's robbing the place, and the owner of the store shoots him and somehow shot him in the leg. So this is 4 of these defensive use where the suspect is getting shot in the leg. I don't know if that's like just a big coincidence or what's going on there. So let's go on to Nashville, Tennessee, and this one is taking place at a 7-Eleven, and this one the suspect was killed, fatally shot at the gas station. Let's see, Nashville, Tennessee, 1 person is dead and another is hurt after a shooting early Saturday on Broadway. Metro Nashville police say that James Flaherty was shot and killed in the parking lot of a 7-Eleven on Broadway early Saturday morning. Homicide unit detectives are investigating a self-defense claim from Isaac Thurman, who is a security guard at the 7-Eleven. Detectives say that Thurman has told them he was trying to break up a fight between Flaherty and another man when Flaherty began to assault him. He says he then fired a gun at Flaherty, who died on the scene of the shooting. So apparently there are places now, and I believe Nashville's one of them, that they're putting security guards at the gas stations. I started hearing about this not that long ago. I think it was Memphis, that there was a huge ordeal about them having armed security at the gas stations because there were so many carjackings there. So This is probably Nashville. This is probably another place like that where you have armed security guards at the gas stations there. I don't know if they've always done that. It seems to me that's kind of a new thing that they just started doing, not in the too distant past. But this guy gets in a fight and then tries to take out the security guard, who then has a gun and shoots him. So let's go on to Chicago, because we can't do a story without including Chicago. And this one shows the victim as a 31-year-old man in an armed robbery. A 31-year-old man was shot during an attempted robbery in Englewood Saturday night. Police say the victim was in the 5600 block of South Elizabeth Street around 9 p.m. when two unidentified males approached him as he got out of his car. The victim told officers that one of the offenders pulled a gun and demanded his personal belongings. The victim, who is a licensed concealed carry holder, exchanged gunfire with the robbers. They fled the scene on foot. Police say the victim was transported to the University of Chicago Medical Center in good condition with a gunshot wound to the hand. There is no one in custody, and Area 1 detectives are investigating. 3 other victims reported that they were targeted by robbers as they got out of their cars on the south side Friday. So the victim ended up getting hurt in this, but it sounds like he just got hit in the hand. And they didn't catch these guys. That whether or not they're the same ones that targeted these other 3 victims they're talking about, maybe if enough people just even getting shot at, even if they didn't get struck by gunfire from the victim, maybe just having the exchange of gunfire will at least stop some of these people that are doing it. That might be just wishful thinking, but if this was their 4th victim that reported being a target of an armed robbery getting out of their car in one night, and at least one of them shot back 25%, that's we're doing pretty good. All right, now we're going to move to Rock Island, Illinois. And we got a suspect. This is a defensive use. Let's see what we got. Rock Island, a man is in critical condition after police say he was shot during a home invasion. Friday night in Rock Island, officers responded at 9:37 p.m. to a report of gunfire and found a 19-year-old man suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. The man was transported to a local hospital. According to police, the initial investigation indicated the injured man and several other masked suspects forced their way into a home while using a firearm. A resident disarmed one of the suspects. Wow. And the 19-year-old man was struck several times by gunfire. Police said the other suspects left the home before officers arrived on the scene. So these guys broke into this guy's house armed with guns, and the guy that lived there, he didn't have his own gun, or he didn't have it readily available, and he disarmed one of these guys and started shooting at him. So he ended up just injuring the 19-year-old suspect. So, hey, whatever works for you. If you have the ability to disarm them, if that works. I don't know if I'd try that, but if you got the ability to do that, we got to stop these guys somehow. And they're breaking in your house with a gun. They're threatening you. Okay, now we're moving on to Kingsland, Georgia, where we have a carjacking, and the suspect. Oh, we got this. This suspect, 32-year-old Quintavious Kwame Jordan. Let's see what Quintavious Kwame Jordan was up to. On Friday, April 28th, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation was requested to assist the Kingsland Police Department in a shooting that took place at the Friendly Express convenience store. The incident took place around 4:20 a.m. after a police chase on Interstate 95, which began in Florida. Kingsland police officers assisted the state of Florida by utilizing stop strips, which resulted in the vehicle coming to a stop. Okay, the driver of the vehicle, identified as Quintavious Kwame Jordan, abandoned the vehicle and went on foot to the Friendly Express. He went inside and robbed the store clerk at gunpoint and took his vehicle. Jordan drove off but returned, ramming his vehicle into the store's entrance. Jordan went inside the store and finds the store clerk and a customer hiding in a back room. Jordan pointed his gun at the customer and the clerk shot Jordan. Medical treatment was rendered on the scene and Jordan was taken for further medical care. Criminal charges against Jordan are anticipated. So this guy is not really an intelligent criminal. He's fleeing the police from Florida. He enters Georgia. The tires get deflated due to the stop strips that the Georgia police put down. And he goes to a gas station, steals a vehicle, leaves with it, and then comes back. So, I mean, you steal the vehicle as a getaway vehicle, and he just leaves and he comes back and just rams into the building. And then ends up getting himself shot in the process. And he was just injured, but not a very smart criminal. All right, Washington, D.C. We have a couple suspects, one female and one male, unharmed, and two suspects that are unharmed. This was a carjacking. Oh, okay, on this one, all right, all I got is the Twitter feed on this one. Horrific. This is what the title says. While it is still unclear from this report who shot at whom, what is clear is that this poor woman was forced to negotiate with 4 armed carjackers to get her baby before they stole her car in Friday morning's rain. And then there's another post. Female victim opens fire during carjacking. 4 guys with guns confronted victim who was legally carrying a gun. She fired, but they got into her car, which they abandoned, and then they got away. So this woman, from what it sounds like on here, nobody actually got hit by gunfire, although shots were made. She gets carjacked and had to plead with these guys to get her baby out of the car, and then she ended up shooting at the car as they were driving away. That's what that sounds like. So, and there, people, these guys think that women are easy targets, but a lot of these defensive use incidents are of women. That the women are the victims, and they're the ones shooting the gun back at these guys. So, at some point, they'll start realizing that, women aren't the simple targets that they think they are. All right, so this looks like the last one we got. We got Oakland, California. 22-year-old victim who was injured. Okay, in this one, the victim was injured. This is a defensive use. The victim was injured, but actually, this is 2 victims, and the other victim was unharmed. It doesn't say what happened to the criminal. Let's see. All right, Oakland. Neighborhood dispute Thursday night in Upper Diamond District led to 22-year-old man stabbing his 25-year-old neighbor before the knife wielder was shot by another person. Okay. Both men were in stable condition Friday, and police were seeking the gunman. This happened around 11:20 p.m. Police said 2 neighbors had been in a dispute that escalated physically and violently. Police have not confirmed what the dispute was about or how long it had been going on. There were some other people present, including a man who then shot the 22-year-old man in the chest before fleeing the scene. Police have not yet said if the gunman knew either of the neighbors. The 22-year-old man was taken in an ambulance to the hospital. The 25-year-old man got his own transportation to the hospital, and the police are investigating. So we don't know who the shooter was in this, but you got this was a stabbing. There are so many stories nowadays about neighbors getting in arguments with each other and shooting each other, and in this case, it's a stabbing. But people don't know how to solve differences anymore. I mean, everything just quickly escalates to this extreme violence. I wouldn't have a problem with people getting in a fist fight every once in a while, but these guys they're always just either going straight to the gun, or like this case, they, finding a knife or whatever he was holding and stabbing him with it. And this is common, and luckily for the guy that got stabbed, that it was stopped early enough by some guy there that, by this story, we don't know who he is, that had a gun that fired a gun and stopped the guy with the knife. Otherwise, the guy that was getting stabbed quite possibly wouldn't be with us anymore. So, good guys with guns, stop bad guys with guns. So So that was the 9 that we got for today. And I'll be back with this again. I'm going to get now on a regular schedule. So it should be every Wednesday going forward. We should have it. And there should be more going forward. I just did one Saturday one posted. So that was not that many days ago. So there should be more going forward. So if the criminal does not fear the police, a judge, or prison, he must be taught to fear his victims. Thanks for watching.